My name is Deborah Englehart Nash, and I'm a consultant and a coach, speaker. I've been involved with APDP for going on almost 20 years now. My favorite thing about being a member of this organization is I have to say, the strength in the annual meeting. I think it's pretty profound. The speakers are unusual. They're typically, most of our keynotes are not a speaker that you would find at a dental meeting. We do that by design. We do that by choice. It's a lot of personal development, leadership skills, entrepreneurial savvy, prowess for being a better self. And I also think that it's a very like-minded group. I mean, we all know why we're there. We're all there to perpetuate private practice dentistry, to be not only better dental professionals, to be certainly more profitable and more productive, but also to be better people. And I think that's what I like most about it. My APDP story, peer pressure, FOMO. Back in the day, this organization is 63 years old. And back in the day, you received an engraved invitation to attend the meeting. And my friends were receiving the invitation. In the years that I didn't receive an invitation, I was devastated and brokenhearted that this was such a prestigious group, such an esteemed group of dental colleagues. I wanted to be in the club, in the group. So when I did get my invitation, I really felt that I had arrived. At that time, to become part of the organization, to become a member of the APDP, you certainly submitted your application, and then there was your why do you want to be a member, what are you going to bring to membership, and you actually had to fly in to be personally interviewed by a board who then selected whether or not you were worthy enough to be a member. So it was a big deal. It was a big deal to become part of this organization, and I wanted to hang out with like-minded, energetic, creative thought leaders. That was my whole objective. That I wanted that experience and that exposure to be a part of a very esteemed group of dental professionals. How I knew that APDP was the right fit for me was that I really admired the other consultants that were a part of that organization, and when they would come back from the meeting, they would talk about what they learned and the amazing, exciting speakers that they heard, and I thought, I want to grow in that way as well. I want to be able to not only grow professionally, but I also wanted to grow personally. They not only talked about the tools that they acquired for their business, but once again, they talked about their personal growth and the personal development. And I wanted that to be part of I wanted those to be arrows in my quiver as well. What surprised me most about the APDP was its focus on collaboration and its focus on mentorship. That these are like-minded people who are very supportive and they want to help one another. They absolutely, truly, authentically, impeccably want to help their colleagues grow. We are friends. I think that there's no stiff upper lip, if you will. There's a very friendly collaboration. That's one of the reasons why we combine our social activities along with our learning activities. So not only do we grow professionally, but we grow together. We grow friendships. We grow our mentorship. We grow collaboratively. We've had a couple of young doctors who've attended the meeting, and they said they never felt so warmed and so welcomed in another organization or another meeting, that they really felt that we cared about them, and they really felt that we were there to help. And I think that for me was also surprising when I became a part of it. My biggest challenge before finding APDP was finding meetings and organizations that appealed to me personally as an individual. I think that there are a lot of dental meetings that you go to, and oftentimes they're the same topics, they're the same subjects, and they relate to dentistry, and that's my business, and that's what I do. And so I need scheduling, and I need practice management, and I need financial arrangements, and I need all those things because I teach those things. But I also needed a place that I could go to for personal development. Once again, I don't find that. I don't find that in other dental meetings, and I find that with APDP. Always have. I'm just always been so in awe and surprised with some of our keynote speakers that you just don't find anywhere else. Maybe if you worked for a big 500 Inc. 500 company or a major corporation, that those would be kind of the meetings you would attend. But the APDP is on a different level. It's got a different caliber of growing and learning as an individual. How has APDP changed my approach to private practice? Obviously, I'm not a practicing dentist. I'm a practicing consultant. But I think that I've had the opportunity to collaborate and work with other dental experts and specialists that have helped me become a better consultant. I mean, we have certified financial planners in that organization. We have certified dental-specific accountants. We have practice transition specialists. So in addition to dentists in that organization, we have other experts in the field of dentistry, but who bring other business acumen and that helps me grow. And I think it helps our attendees grow as well. So once again, we do have some of the standard subjects that might be at a typical dental meeting. But then I think we think out of the box a little bit, and we talk about they need to know about the legalities of practice. They need to know about malpractice. They need to know about accounting and insurance and human resources. And so I think the business of dentistry is very well covered at an APDP meeting. I think it's helped me a lot as a consultant. What does APDP mean to me? It's interesting that I never thought that I would become as involved on the board or become involved as the past president, and I'm the immediate past president. It was never my intent to be entrenched in APDP, but I was asked to help them. One year, they brought me into a board meeting and asked for my opinion. They asked for some feedback, and I think that's really another feature of APDP. They really want to hear from its members. How do you want to grow? How do you want us to grow? How can we best help you? And they asked me to collaborate with them at that level. And from there, then they asked me to serve on the board. And from there, they've asked me to take on some roles. I think that that I really care about this organization, and I know that the people in this organization care about each other. They care about our mission, and our mission is to perpetuate private practice dentistry. And even though people say that in today's world that private practice dentistry is dying, it isn't. There's still over 50% of dental practices are owned privately. And the question is oftentimes, where do these dentists go to get specific focus on being a private practice dental owner? It's not in their bandwidth, or it's not in their long-term objectives to become a part of a dental service organization or invisible dental service organization. They want to stay private practice dentistry, and we're here to help them. And that's what I'm all about too, is fee for service, private practice dentistry, kind of is my passion. Not that I don't think DSOs have their place, but private practice dentistry also has its place. The question has always been, where does the private practice dentist go? Where is the place that they go to learn how to continue to grow and thrive and be successful as a private practice dental owner? What makes APDP different from other dental organizations? For years, I was encouraging my friends and my colleagues to attend the meeting, and I kept telling them that it's different, and you're going to recognize not only is it different because of the speakers that we invite to participate in the programs, but there's also kind of and if you will, kind of if there's a different vibe at that meeting. But I think it's because of what we bring into the learning environment. I mean, we've had a commander who teaches leadership at West Point. We've had prisoners of war who've been our keynote speakers. We've had, oh my gosh, we've had ministers, we have had athletes, we have had mountain climbers, we've had people who have had life experiences that have taught them a great lesson, and they bring that great lesson to teach us. And so my colleagues, we've had, my friends who are speakers and who are consultants and other dentists, and I've said, please come to the meeting. And when they come, they say, Deborah, you've been telling me for years that it's different. This meeting is different. And now I understand what you're saying. Now I understand. We just recently had one of our keynote speakers was the incoming ADA president. And he came as a speaker, and he immediately joined to become a member because he said, these are my people. These are my people. These are people who care about one another, that they support one another, they uplift one another, and they have a high regard and respect for our profession, for the dental profession. How I would describe the APDP community? Diverse, certainly, all ages. Once again, we have dentists who were professors and instructors who are actually no longer practicing or teaching. And when, I could think of this one gentleman, and I said, why do you continue to come to the meeting? And he says, because I want to mentor the younger doctors. So I think that we have a very diverse group. Once again, we have dentists, we have older dentists, we have young dentists, we have dentists who've just recently in private practice. I think the last 2 years we had graduating dentists. They just graduated and they came to our meetings. Consultants, accountants, practice transition experts. So once again, we have a cadre of dental professionals who learn together, grow together. And once again, here you are, you're sitting down and having a libation, a drink with a CPA, and you're asking about your business. And there's no meter, there's no time clock, there's no bill at the end. We share openly. And that's what that meeting weekend is all about. And the intention is to keep that thread running through the entire year with the membership, and how do we continue to support one another. And we have special meetings, members only events that where we can collaborate and actually take even deeper dives into our personal businesses and commiserate with one another and congratulate and celebrate with each other as well. The APDP annual event is one of my favorite things about the organization. And selfishly, I have to say that I was the program chair a couple of years ago, and we work very hard to make sure that it's entertaining, exciting, it's fun, it's also growing and learning. This year's event is going to be March 6th through the 8th in Tucson, Arizona at the Westward Look Wyndham, which is a spa, a casita-style resort. It absolutely is it's stunning. There's been a site visit, so we are guaranteed that it's going to be beautiful and uplifting. There are so many activities. We are going to have a pickleball tournament. I think there's tennis involved. Obviously, there will be golf. There's horseback riding and hiking, and there's going to be a trip to Tombstone, which I'm going to be taking because I've never been. Apparently, it's a farm-to-table restaurant resort. So I think one of the events for non-dental, when we're doing our lunch and learns for the dentist during the weekend, there will be something for non-dentists. And I believe they're going to be taking a walk with the chef. I may have to cheat and go on that. Although I think I'm doing a lunch and learn. But they're taking a walk in the garden, in the herb garden, in the vegetable garden with the chef, talking about how he uses the spices in the food. So that's really cool. So I think this has been an amazing location that has been selected this year in Tucson, Arizona. And people can register for this meeting. They can go on to the site apdp.net. They can take a look. There's actually some video of the site, and they can register for the meeting in Tucson for March 6th through 8th. And for those people who live in snowy lands, this would probably be a perfect respite for them to attend that meeting. What dentists are going to be able to learn and take away from this APDP event, I think will be some great tools for their dental practices. There's also going to be lots of opportunities for personal growth. We've got a clinical instructor, Dr. Ross Nash, who's going to be talking about aesthetic dentistry. Dana Watson's talking about the voices of leadership, which, man, that's one of the things that is oftentimes overlooked in our business and our industry about, man, I'm a dentist, but I also need to be a leader. We've got Alan Twigg talking about such a current topic and an important topic right now in terms of human resources and how to attract and retain personnel. And he might even get into some of the ramifications of what you can and cannot do in terms of labor. And we also have certified public accountants talking about the business of dentistry. But I'm really excited about it. And I have to admit that I sort of was working alongside with Dr. Spaniel, who's our president, and Pam Sutton, our program chair. Ross Bernstein is one of our keynotes. He is a sports writer. He is so funny but full of energy and full of great takeaways about human development, personal development, and he's got great stories. But it's also about how to be your best self, which is pretty incredible. My dear friend Kirk Barrett, who's a dental coach, he's been in the industry for a long year. Once again, great information, smart, funny, thoughtful. He's going to bring great information. He's going to be our Thursday evening keynote. Lou Raja, introspective, reflective. And I think that's also a part of who we are. It's one of the, if we talk about balance of life, I think this program brings that to the attendees. I think we really are very sensitive and very keen on bringing a balance of life at the APDP meeting. What would I tell somebody about who is on the fence about attending? And I can actually bring this really close to home because I'm married to a dentist who came as my guest for years. He finally became a member, and I said, "Why are you becoming a member? You can continue to come as my guest." He said, "Well, first of all, I love this organization. And this is a meeting." He said, "This is a meeting." And he is a Lifetime Achievement winner for the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. He belongs to the dental societies. He belongs to ADA. He belongs to a number of dental organizations. But he says, "This is the meeting that I will never miss." He says, "I come back refueled, refired, re-energized. I come back a better me." And so I say, if somebody is on the fence about this, think about that proposition of coming back a better you after you attend a meeting. Not drained, but refueled and refired. And I think that's what APDP brings to the attendees. Dentists can join our meeting in Tucson this year, March 6th through the 8th, by getting onto the website, apdp.net, and registering to become a guest attendee. It gives you an opportunity also to test drive us to see if this is an organization with whom you would you want to belong, the like-minded people that you'll get to meet. We love to have you fully immerse yourself into our organization, but you can test the waters by attending the meeting in March in Tucson. So simply go on to the apdp.net site. You can register yourself, register your team. This is a great team event, great team building event. What a wonderful opportunity for you to spend some time with your team, learning and growing together at a wonderful venue with some, once again, speakers they are not going to hear anywhere else. They are not going to see them anywhere else. This might be a fun weekend, and it's a short requirement if you think about it. It's a Thursday to a Saturday night. So once again, you're not taking a lot of time away from your dental practice. So I highly encourage doctors to consider bringing their spouses and their friends and potentially also their team to learn and grow together. You know, right now we are living in what is called an experiential economy. In today's world, consumers want affordability, which is very subjective. They certainly want efficiency. But in today's world, when you take a look at the customer service, consumer trends in 2024, 2025, consumers expect an experience. They want to engage. And I really think, I was just having a conversation with a client the other day about, is your relationship with your patient transactional or is it relational? 80% of the reason why patients choose dental treatment is about creating a relationship with the patient. Most patients do not choose a dental practice or choose treatment based on the tertiary anatomy of a crown. They choose that practice, and they choose to stay in that practice and tell friends about that practice because of the way the people in that practice made them feel. The one thing that would change the patient experience, and I think that makes a dramatic difference, is teaching dental teams how to endorse the doctor. I think it's really important for the patient to hear from the moment they call, through the meeting the people in person, through the chairside assistant and the hygienist, what is the dental team saying about the doctor to the patient, so the patient feels that they've chosen the right person for their care. I think it's the absolutely critical for the dental team to validate and endorse the person for whom they work. An example of how strong team endorsement changes and moves a patient forward to care. I think that many times consumers, our patients, are looking for the second opinion. They're looking for the validation they've made the right decision. And oftentimes they may be reluctant to turn to the dentist and ask the awkward question, the secure question, but they feel a little bit more akin to a team member. Most dentists have a beautiful humility about them, sometimes taken to excess, and then it becomes a weakness. But most dentists do not walk into an operatory or to meet a patient and say, "Darn, I'm good. You're so lucky that you have me as your dentist." But the dental assistant, the hygienist, the receptionist can say that. They can say, let me tell you about this doctor. And they can speak not only about the clinical abilities of that doctor, but they can speak about the integrity. In fact, I have a wonderful practice in Oregon, and the dental assistant says when she's introducing herself to the patient, and she talks about his skill and his passion and his commitment to dentistry, but she also says, in all of my years I've worked with him, I can tell you, I will vouch for his integrity and his strength of character. And not only does he treat our patients with respect and dignity and integrity, but he also treats me the same way. That is a huge testimonial to the patient. And I think it makes a huge difference in the patient's eyes. Sometimes someone could come back with a little snarky comment and say, "Oh, I bet he pays you to tell me that." And Crystal, who is this assistant, she said, "He pays me to be here. That's true. But he has earned my trust and respect." The common barrier to achieving team endorsement would be the team not feeling validated, the team not feeling that they're being endorsed themselves. I think that, I'm married to a dentist, and one of the things that he sold his practice 3 years ago, and he still works part-time. But one of the things we always said to our team, there's 3 things you need to know if you're going to work here. Number 1, we hire grown-ups. Number 2, we keep your knees bent, because things are going to change. The day isn't, even though it's scheduled, things may alter throughout the day, so be prepared. But the third thing, which I think is one of the most important things we always said, is we truly believe you get what you give. So if you're going to ask me to go the extra mile, let's go together. Go together. So I think, yeah, one of the things that may be holding me back is if I don't feel valued and I don't feel affirmed in my work, then it's going to be pretty hard for me to endorse. The difference between a transactional and a relational experience with patients. Transactional is, an example would be when a new patient calls on the phone, we go through the menu of what we're going to do that day. So we say things like transaction is, we're going to take a full series of radiographs. We are going to do a comprehensive examination. We're going to do oral cancer screening exam. We're going to do periodontal probings. And we tell them what we're going to do to them, not what we're going to do for them. We talk about what insurance will and will not do, and they have to come in 15 minutes early and bring their insurance card. And we tell them all the rules and regulations of being a patient in the practice. That's a transactional conversation. The relational conversation is, what inspired you to call? How can we best help you? Tell me a little bit more about your situation. Tell me, and then the question, there's always, can I ask you a few questions? How did you choose us? So those are relational, and you've got about 15 seconds. And the objective is to help that patient understand that they have chosen a place that's different than a transactional practice. Transactional practice becomes very insurance dependent. Relational practices becomes less insurance dependent. I will buy more from people that I like. I will accept treatment more from people that I like. And when I feel that I'm listened to and cared for, I'll buy more. Small changes that can make a significant impact in dental offices. I think one of them is taking more time, especially with patients of record. We all talk about how to attract patients, how to bring new patients in, but then the other question is, how do we retain them? How do we keep them? And we want to take a look at how much unscheduled treatment might be with those retained patients. What are we doing with them? And there's been several conversations on Facebook pages of late about how quickly can a hygienist get their work done. And it's almost like a name that tune. My hygienist can clean a patient's teeth in 30 minutes, while mine can do it in 20 minutes. Mine does it, as she's walking out the door to her car. We have a talk about speed and efficiency, and I think, wow, how are we being effective? So if I could make one slight change in every dental practice, say, take more time with your patient. It's not about how quickly you can get it done. It's how effective are you while they're within your care, and become better listeners. Become very intentional. And sometimes an example of that would be, sometimes we're asking patients questions as we're cleaning the room or as we're setting up the tray, we're getting the instruments ready, and we're not sitting eye to eye, face to face. We're not paying attention to our body language. We're not leaning forward, and we're not making eye contact saying, you really matter to me, and what you're saying really matters to me. And I think that would be a significant change in most dental offices.